Good morning, everybody. This is Steve Sabludowsky, publisher of BayouBuzz.com. And on this beautiful Sunday morning, we have Tyler Bridges, who has spent virtually all his life this past year up in Baton Rouge covering the legislature. Good morning, Tyler. How are you doing?
Doing well, Steve. Thank you.
So you've spent, like I said, you spent quite a number of hours up there in Baton Rouge. And so you actually survived, like everybody, I guess. But if you could just give us an idea as to what happened in the last 3 weeks, just in general.
Right. Well, the last 3 weeks was the special session called by Governor John Bel Edwards. He said that special session was needed because lawmakers had not raised enough revenue during the first special session in February and March. So on June 6th, when the second special session started, the governor said that there was a $600 million shortfall to fund programs like TOPS, K-12 schools, prisons, funding for sheriffs, higher education, and an array of other programs. And so over the past 3 weeks, the governor was trying to get the legislature to approve that $600 million in funding.
And the end result was what?
In the end, Republicans in the state house were not persuaded that the governor's ideas were the best. The legislature did raise some taxes. The total amount appears to be about $263 million, or a little less than half of what the governor wanted.
Now, I saw an article that you wrote that was on the Advocate yesterday, and you mentioned that we're roughly $200 million short for this current fiscal year that ends June 30th. Is that correct?
Yeah. Let me just take a couple minutes to walk people through this. It's a little confusing. So right now, we're in the 2015-16 fiscal year. It ends on June 30th. And in the current fiscal year, it looks like the state government is going to come up with about $200 million short. Why? Because corporate tax collections appear to be $200 below projection. The state was supposed to collect $359 million from corporations. It looks like they would get $200 million less. It's not clear why, whether it's that there's so many tax giveaways or that the economy is in recession for the lagging tax collections from corporations. So that is a problem the legislature doesn't have to deal with right now, the $200 million deficit. But as of July, it starts the new fiscal year, and so at some point in the new fiscal year, the legislature, if indeed that $200 million, it's a projection at that point, but if that $200 million comes through, that the state is short with a deficit, then the legislature and the governor by law have to fill that. Separately, the governor was trying to raise $600 million for next year. The legislature and the governor were not required to come up with that $600 million. He just said, hey, we need this money for the hospitals, for schools, for TOPS, etc. And in the end, the legislature only provided $263 million. So that meant that certain programs will not be fully funded next year, the next year being, again, the fiscal year that begins after July 1st. We've got two different issues that are related. One is that a lot of programs that the governor wanted to fund, the legislature said, we're not going to raise more taxes to fund it. Separately, is in the current fiscal year, a $200 million deficit that at some point, if that is actually the final number, because we don't know yet, that will have to result in apparently cuts or somehow come up with more money next year.